Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to Stability WOD. This is our second episode. I hope you were able to tune in and get some helpful information, insights from our first video, which obviously was on midline stabilization. So now we want to kind of get away from that just a little bit, because at the end of the day, in a lot of these CrossFit workouts, we tend to bias a lot of pressing movements, a lot of overhead presses, a lot of horizontal pushes, push-ups and things like that. And what happens over time is we tend to bias a sort of internally rotated shoulder position, which if we're not careful can obviously lead to some tendonitis of the bicep tendon, and some other shoulder impingement type issues. So without overwhelming the issue with some of the anatomy, what it boils down to is our shoulder blade should lay flat on the back of our body. It should articulate with our arm as we move it, but it should stay flat and sort of slide back and forth, up and down, but never really wing or lift off of the aspect of the shoulder here closest to the spine. What you'll see though, unfortunately, a lot of us is because of our lifestyle postures followed up by a lot of these pushing movements, we tend to see a lot of that scapular winging, we call it, where the actual shoulder blade lifts off and actually looks like the person has a wing at the back of their shoulder. So what we want to try to do is avoid that as much as possible and sort of reestablish some stability in that shoulder blade so that we can avoid some of those painful conditions where the shoulder feels like it's burning unnecessarily, or for that matter keeps us from being able to do an actual workout. So we've got 3 basic exercises we want to emphasize today, all of which are band related. We've got 2 bands anchored up top here on a pull-up bar, or for that matter any bar a little bit higher than our shoulders. We've got 1 stretch band right here just kind of hanging out loose, and then we've got a 3rd one anchored over there, which we'll get to in a minute. But basically what we're trying to do is reestablish proper retraction, depression, in some cases elevation, and gliding movements for the shoulder blade. So what we're going to do is start with a good old-fashioned push down, if you will. Some people have probably done this back in the day in a traditional gym setting with just one of the short bars anchored off of a cable and pulling it straight down into them. So we're basically doing the same thing here with the band. We want to go ahead and get a grip on either side. We want to step back far enough to get some actual decent tension here, and now taking the hands and putting them in position as if this was an actual fixed bar, we want to turn the palms towards the floor and then go ahead and draw the band down and back into us. Let it come back up. If you don't feel like that's enough tension, obviously bring ourselves back a little bit further. And again, bringing it straight down and kind of back into our waist a little bit. We want to really feel a nice squeeze at the bottom of our shoulder blades, right in here underneath the armpit, right in the belly of that lat muscle. If this is too thin, if this isn't enough resistance, obviously go ahead and grab a thicker stretch band. You might not need as much distance away from your anchor, but just the same, you're going to go ahead and bring it down and into the waist. Try not to let the palms lift towards the ceiling again. Try to keep palms straight down, pull down and back and into you. We're looking at about 3 sets, probably 10 to 15 repetitions at a time right there. Then we want to go ahead and get ourselves an actual free unanchored stretch band. And we're going to go ahead and do what is otherwise called a band pull apart. We're just going to go ahead and actually take the band. In this case, you'll see some people grabbing the band overhand. We're going to go ahead and take that sort of externally rotated shoulder position, if you will, grab the band underhand so our palms are now facing the ceiling, and again, pull the band apart and across the front of our shoulder. So we're trying to get the arm to actually retract while the shoulder blade stays depressed. We're looking again 10 to 15. If we need more resistance, we want to grab the band closer. If we need less resistance, go ahead and grab it a little bit wider and just bringing it back all the way until we get that good squeeze back and across the middle of our back. Again, 3 sets, 10 to 15 here. And then last but not least, we want to take it over here. We want to find some place we can anchor the band roughly shoulder height, maybe a little bit lower if need be. We want to go ahead and stagger our stance. We're fairly stable. We've got an overhand position, arms straight out in front as we pull the band back. We're going to actually bring the band right across the front of our forehead. If we need a little less, or a little more resistance rather, we're going to go ahead and grab it just a little bit further in, pull back, and we want to try to get the wrist itself back here so we're almost in a 90-degree position at the top of the range of motion. So we're back and out, all the way back and out. Again, we're looking at 3 sets, 15 repetitions. or 10 to 15 for that matter. You can put these together in a little circuit if you want, go 1, 2, 3, back around, or you can go ahead and do your 15, rest for give or take 30 to 60 seconds, and try it again. Give these a shot, see how your shoulders feel when you're done. It should help you cultivate better pushing positions, be it horizontal or vertical. But most importantly, it should keep those shoulders sort of bulletproof so that you don't have any of that pain and discomfort after a workout. That's this week's workout. Get after it. We'll see you next week.